Let's go ahead and take a look at some examples of a two-sample z proportion test or interval, sorry, and a two-sample t interval. And so this first example here, we're looking at comparing college A with college B. We have summary data. 48% of students, 500 drive to school at another college. 67% of the students out of 625 drive to school. That's college B. So those are our two samples. And we want to estimate how much more of a proportion of students from college B drive compared to college A. So we're comparing these two, and we're going to do that through an interval. We want to actually estimate what is that percent difference between them. If we don't have given information, then we'll always use an alpha of 5% or 0.5, a significance level, and then that means a 95% confidence interval. Here are the steps. Again, you can review those back in past lessons, the steps of a confidence interval. First thing is we're trying to identify the difference in proportion of students who drive to school between college B and college A. And college B is first in this case. We're estimating that they're greater than college A. So two proportion Z interval. We're going to use a Z statistic. Independent, we got to have our requirements. It's a randomly sample. These groups we're assuming are less than 5% of the population of students at the college. And the groups are large enough when we do the test of successes and failures. When you do the P times N, Q times N, they're both greater than or equal to 10 for both colleges. And so now we want to actually calculate that confidence interval. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use technology, either StatCrunch or the ArtistStat. I'll show you both of those so that we could come up with a confidence interval for this. Let's first do that on StatCrunch. You have StatCrunch open. You're going to go to Stat. And then here we're going to, you think it'd go to Z. We're doing proportion stats in this case. And this will be two sample. Proportion stats, two sample. And then we have the data with summary right now. And so then you're going to go ahead and put in, the numbers that we need to here for college B and college A. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. And so we know from our calculations that the number of successes is 2 for college B it's going to be 67%, or 2/3 of 625, which would give us around 419 out of the 625. And then for college A, the number of successes was 48% of 500. And so that is 240 out of 500. And then we are doing a confidence interval for 95% or the level. And then you hit compute, and that's it. And so then you see we end up with these two values, which I'll record later on. But that's, again, your lower limit and upper limit. So let's go ahead and do the same thing with the ArtistStat. And the ArtistStat, after that, you have your web apps open. You go ahead, and this is a two sample inference, proportions. And then from the proportions, we'll go ahead and take a look. Okay, so we're going to be comparing two population proportions. We want to do the significance and confidence interval. There we have our number of successes for the first group. The sample size was 625. Number of successes, if you remember, was 419. And then for the second group, we had sample size 500. Number of successes 240. And we're doing a confidence interval 95. And so then you can see we end up with those numbers right here, 13.3 and 24.8. And that's it. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Then that's what goes right here. We had the 13.3 and 24.8. Actually, let's do it in the decimals. Proportions, 0.248, just like that. And so then now we are able to say we are 95% confident that the difference in proportions of students who drive to school is between 13.3% and 24.8%. So we have those values there. And so what that means is, right, this means 13.3% to 24, right? It's our estimate percent more of students from College B than College A drive to school. Again, this is our estimate for that value. Again, we don't know the exact value of how many more students, but it looks like it's between 13.3 and 24.8%.